8 years ago, I walked out of a GameStop with a copy of Yakuza 3. Ever since that day, I have had a deep love for this series of melodramatic, high-octane, and often very goofy crime dramas. For close to a decade, I have been following the life of Kazuma Kiryu and the people he is closest to. Watched his struggles as he tries to live a quiet life while the ghost of his past and the Toho clan Yakuza keep pulling him back in. Yakuza 6 not only offers a fitting end to Kiryu's story, but features a great evolution for the series' gameplay going forward. The story of Yakuza 6 sees Kiryu willfully going to prison for 3 years after the events of Yakuza 5. When he gets out, he finds his adopted daughter Haruka has vanished. While searching for her, Kiryu finds her comatose after a hit and run. In her arms was an infant believed to be her son. The search for the child's father leads Kiryu back into Yakuza power struggles in the series' usual location of Kamurocho in Tokyo and the small port town of Onomichi in Hiroshima. The tone of this story is in line with other Yakuza games, varying wildly between serious drama, comedy, and just plain bonkers moments. With the story being a send-off for Kiryu, many of the past game's major characters are relegated to brief cameos. The meat of the story plays out with a brand new set of characters. As such, the story manages to build off of past events without being an impossible jumping-on point for new players. The majority of these new characters feel fully fleshed out and are incredibly engaging, even though a couple of the villains fall into some generic tropes that the series has gone back to one too many times. While some of the revelations towards the end of the game feel a little contrived, it doesn't stop the ending from feeling genuine. Without spoiling anything, Kiryu's goodbye to the series is a bittersweet moment that is handled with the gravitas and respect that a farewell to a character we've been following for over a decade deserves. What is not bittersweet is the game's new combat engine. Gone are the multiple fighting styles from Yakuza 0 and Kiwami, and in their place is a combat engine that goes back to the series' roots, while pushing it forward in some new ways. Kiryu may be back to using a smaller moveset, but the introduction of physics into the environment changes things up significantly. In the middle of any given fight, Kiryu or his enemies may accidentally or purposefully kick objects in the environment around. These objects can then deal damage to Kiryu or his opponents and cause chaos during fights in a way that makes the combat feel more dynamic than before. Movement is no longer limited during combat as well, further leading to the feeling of everything being grounded within the world. Unfortunately, the difficulty has taken a bit of a hit, with most gangs of enemies being easily dispatched by throwing one or two of them around. It's not to say it's not fun, but the lack of challenge may be a turnoff for some. However, even with that lack of challenge in combat, Yakuza 6 offers plenty of other activities to enjoy, as is tradition for the series. Side quests and minigames abound throughout Kamurocho and Onomichi. You can stop by Sega arcades to play classics like Outrun or Virtua Fighter 5, play darts at a local bar, sing karaoke, entertain hostesses at a cabaret club, manage a baseball team, and more. Many of these minigames feel fleshed out to the point where they could be released as standalone titles. The sub-stories also offer great distractions from the main questline and have you doing often outlandish things such as collecting cats for a struggling cat cafe or battling ghosts in a graveyard. All of these missions are now fully voice-acted for the first time in the series, which adds to the drama and absurdity at play. The addition of the new Troubler system brings its own set of smaller missions as well. Troubler is a social network that informs Kiryu of people who are in or have witnessed some trouble nearby. Most of these are quick side missions that involve beating up some thugs, but many others get a bit more involved and have Kiryu performing tasks like delivering ramen or tracking down an arsonist loose in the city. Even if the main storyline doesn't appeal to you, there are plenty of other things to make this game worthwhile. Yakuza 6 is an outstanding game. Absolutely packed with content and full of fun, dynamic combat, the gameplay delivers in every way. And the game's story gives Kiryu a stellar send-off without alienating new fans in the process. I don't know where the next Yakuza game will take us without Kiryu, but Yakuza 6 has laid an absolutely stellar foundation for the team at Sega to build upon.